Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our wrap-up press briefing for a successful election day. I'm going to turn it over. This is Jessica Corbett, Director of External Affairs for Fulton County. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Barron in just a moment to give some remarks. After he is done, we will take questions. As always, you are welcome to raise your hand or use the chat or Q&A feature of Zoom, and we will ask your questions and get those all covered. And I will go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Barron at this time.
All right, thank you, Jessica. So today we had a really smooth election day. All 254 polling sites opened on time. We had high early voting turnout. This time we had almost 270,000, or a little more than 270,000 people vote early. We had approximately 156,375 absentee ballot applications that we mailed out, and we have received through today 108,159. That does not include the drop boxes for tonight or any late mail that we received. So that number will go up. We have scanned through about 6 o'clock today, 100,558 ballots. And we have a vote review panel that's going to meet tonight at 11 o'clock. And we will upload more absentee by mail results later. We've already uploaded our absentee by mail results. We released those a little after 7 o'clock. In addition to that, let me switch back screens here. Today, our turnout was steady. We've had, I know, at least 70,000 votes cast. I don't know what the final amount is going to be. I won't know that till later. But that was, I think, going to be the minimum that we had today, which is higher election day total than we had for the November election. Of course, we have less absentee by mail, and because early voting was 4 days shorter, we had less early voting in-person ballots cast. However, we were on pace to break that early voting number had we had 4 more days to vote. We've been extremely transparent throughout the absentee ballot processing. We have several weeks of live streaming in an open observation area. We entered into a consent order to allow monitors to be within 10 feet of workers to view the work. We're on track with processing. We should be able to process almost all, if not all, ballots tonight. And we are uploading, we will be uploading early voting results shortly. We will continue working tonight until probably around 2 a.m. and hopefully we'll get all the results complete tonight. If not, we will have a vote review panel that will meet at 9 a.m. tomorrow to hopefully conclude the absentee by mail ballots. One thing I want to do is thank all of our poll workers and staff. They've gone above and beyond this year. We faced a crisis in the fall with COVID from August to January. We went through 6 elections in an 8-month period, or I guess, no, from June to January, we had 6 elections in 8 months. And 4 of those were countywide elections. The other 2 were in more than half of the county. We made many improvements in our processes. We were the first county to offer mobile voting this year. And we know that other counties are considering this. Our 2 mobile voting units were very popular during early voting. It allowed us to hit many more sites, gave us more flexibility. And we were also able to use those on election day, not only in December, but also in November. In the midst of all this, we face the effects of the pandemic that directly affected dozens of our employees. We're up to 34 infections for this cycle. We had unprecedented support from partners including Fulton County, cities and school boards, nonprofit organizations, the business community, including the Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta United, and the Atlanta Falcons. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished this year, and I want to thank everyone who has contributed to our success. And one thing, I know there are probably going to be questions, and I said this yesterday, with regard to some of the things that President Trump said that were patently false, but we and our department has cooperated fully with every investigation from the Georgia Secretary of State's office, and we'll continue to work with them and to conduct our elections in compliance with the law. And I can take any questions from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barron. I'm going to go ahead. I have one hand raised. So Claire Sims, I'm going to let Claire speak. And then again, if others would like to place them in the chat, they're welcome to do that, or just use the raise your hand feature. Claire, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Barron.
Claire, we can't hear you very well.
Hold on. Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes.
So it appears so far that things have been going more smoothly than they did in November. Would you credit the fact that you've been through this before, or what do you think? I mean, obviously there are a fewer ballots this time around, but what do you think has led to so far what we've seen as a little bit more successful operation this time around?
Well, I think this election was similar to the November election, which was successful. I mean, we really, our August, September, November, December elections all went well, as did this one. The anomaly on the schedule was June, and there were various reasons for that. But I think also, as you have poll workers that work one election after another, you get 6 and 8 months, and some of them are packed pretty close together. They get a lot of experience in the field. The same thing with early voting, but I think that expanded early voting program that we have in Fulton County, we had more early voting sites in November than the four larger counties around us. They had combined. This time, I think we had more early voting sites in probably 6 or 7 counties combined. What that does is allow us to take the pressure off of election day. And that's one of the reasons why we've had success, is the number of early voting sites that we use. That is the best way to have successful election days, because election day is a little more of a wild card than early voting is. And I think we also improved our processes with regard to absentee by mail. We still processed 156,000 applications, or actually more than that, if you count the duplicate submissions. However, we processed more applications than we did for the June election, even though it wasn't as much as November. I think each one of these elections with all of this absentee by mail has left us with room for improvement and lessons learned. But I think with each election, we've gotten more and more efficient.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. I'm going to ask a couple of questions that were in the chat in the Q&A. Reed from the Washington Post, he said, you talked about the threats your staff has received. Have there been any incidents on election day?
No, we had no incidents today of which I'm aware. Last Wednesday, we did receive a bomb threat from a gentleman in Tennessee, and he threatened us at one of our polling places today. I know that the FBI visited him and searched his home on Thursday. You know, there have been several staff members that have received death threats, and we have had innumerable racial slurs thrown at our staff, mostly via phone, but some on social media as well. And that's been a really disappointing and disconcerting turn of events, that people feel that they have the license to, you know, bring racial matters into into politics. And I feel really badly for my staff that they've had to deal with that.
Thank you, Mr. Barron, and I'm sure we'll get some follow-up questions about that. We also, Drew Griffin had a question. He said, could you please compare today's in-person voting number to November's in-person voting number?
Well, I know that we had right around 60,000 vote on election day in November, and I believe we're going to have at least 70,000 today. I don't know what the final number is going to be. That is a rough estimate, that figure right now. So once we get all the votes cast tonight, we'll know what the final number is for election day. But I know it was a little bit busier today. Part of that probably has to do with the fact that we had 4 fewer early voting days this time around than we did in November.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. This time I don't have any additional questions in the chat, so I'm just going to ask anyone who may have one to either raise your hand, use the chat feature, or use the Q&A feature. Otherwise, we'll let Mr. Barron get back to work. Just give you guys a minute. All right, we have one more. One person, Drew, asked a follow-up question about the bomb threat. He said, can you give any more details on the bomb threat from the Tennessee man?
The only thing that I know is that the person said that the Nashville bombing was a practice run for what we would see today at one of our polling places. And that immediately went to the FBI, who investigated it. And I know they visited the gentleman at his home, and that they searched his home. No arrest was made, and that's all I know.
One person, what day was that threat made?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, that was the 30th. Is that correct, Mr. Barron? I think so. Okay. Well, we will be, for reporters who are covering, we will be out we have staff at English Street and staff at the World Congress Center, where absentee ballots are being processed. As you see, Mr. Barron is currently at English Street Warehouse, the Election Preparation Center. We are not planning any one-on-one interviews tonight, but we want to let Mr. Barron get to his work. Oh wait, I'm sorry, we have one more question in the queue. I was about to close out. Blaine, go ahead.
Hi there, this is Blaine Alexander with NBC. I just wanted to confirm one thing. I hopped on late. I wanted to make sure, Mr. Barron, that you said that you expect to have the almost all ballots processed by tonight, if not all processed by tonight. Is that correct?
Yeah, as of around 6 o'clock, we had a little over 100,000 scanned of the 109,000 that we've received. That does not include the 38 drop boxes that will be coming in tonight, or didn't include any of the late mail that we received. So we'll see if we can get all of that done tonight. That's what we're hoping for. We're going to pull results from the scanners at GWCC at 9 o'clock. We'll bring those over here, and we'll tabulate them, and the vote review panel will go through those. But anything that is scanned after that, we won't be able to put it into the server and then have a vote review panel deal with any of the ballots that need to be adjudicated until the morning. So any of those ballots that are left over after the 9 o'clock poll, even if we finish them tonight, those won't be released until tomorrow.
Okay. And to be clear, we're talking about absentee ballots.
What's that?
To be clear, we're talking about absentee ballots.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Barron, just for clarity, could you, you may not know this, do you happen to know how many ballots you received in the Dropbox yesterday?
Let's see.
If not, we can get
Dropbox yesterday, it looks like on the 4th we had 2,503 yesterday.
all right. So
And
something
today so far we had received 1,408 through the drop boxes because we've already done one pickup. So I'm not sure how many more we're going to get tonight.
But just for, I guess, just to give people a sense of scale, a few thousand, not tens of thousands.
Right.
Good. I just wanted to provide that for clarity. So we are looking in the neighborhood likely less than 15,000 ballots left to be scanned. Is that correct?
How much?
Less than 15, would you say?
Yes,
Okay.
that's probably right.
All right, good. I just wanted to be able to provide some sense of scale for folks who are following that. And again, that's far less than what we still had to go in November. All right, well, I think that looks like it's all the questions we have right now. I will let you get back to work. Thank you for everything. And folks can contact me or Regina or Daryl if you have any questions. Be safe.